The name exposure, it means in layman's terms to shed light to or on. I dissected hood apostle and the word apostle, it was a name given to early Christian teachers or followers of a certain biblical truth.
Yes.
With the name, the hood apostle, or just that terminology, the hood apostle, it pushes a culture language that only some can understand.
Absolutely.
Can you explain that to us?
So, I am a Christian, not ashamed. I have recently stepped in to the area of evangelism. The hood apostle, I understand poetry just gets my foot in the door. Growing up, I didn't know that that was a tool. So I use that tool to start conversation. Some people won't ever go inside a church, an edifice, or anything. You are the only Bible they'll read. So I have to do what I feel like God is calling me to do outside of the walls of the church. Even though I grew up in there, I'm a church baby. I play drums, teaching myself how to play bass, some other things as well. But I know for me, I'm outside of the walls. And so exposure, I was named by a young lady, I'm gonna call her young, Ebony Red Soul from Cleveland. She heard me do spoken word one time, and she was like, I'm gonna call you Exposure. By nature, my name is Alexis Boyd, which really means defender of the light. So it goes hand in hand with it. And yeah, that's it. That's it.
I like that. We really enjoy coffee and conversation.
Thank you.
We enjoy
Thank
it. One morning you were in it, having the conversation, and there was a statement. It was last year, and it was profound to me. My spirit is sober. That touched me in so many ways, and I even shared it with someone else, and he was like, well, you can interpret it how you want to, but you probably would want to ask her, like, what does that mean?
My spirit is sober?
My spirit is sober.
So you have to understand what it means to be drunk, to appreciate being sober. You can be drunk off a bunch of things and not know it. Social media, your phone, your spouse. Sometimes things that get you drunk, you can easily turn them into idols. So you get to worshiping things that you don't even know you've made an idol because you've been doing it so long and it's become mundane. So when your spirit is sober, you can have clarity. You see different, you sit different, you talk different, you walk different. And discernment ain't just for other people. You got to be able to know when you off yourself. That's the greatest type of discernment you could ever have. And so I knew I was off for years, and I'm sure we'll get into that later. But last year is when I started to feel strength and sobriety, and not just in a spiritual sense, but in a natural one as well, because we use things to cope. You know, I was a nicotine smoker for 10 years. And last month, was it last month? Maybe January. We were fasting with the church, and in my prayer time, it was just like, I'm not God of just some things. I'm God of all things. The Holy Spirit is a teacher of life principles as well, not just spiritual principles. So if you want me to do this, you got to believe it. And so not having that, oh, I need to go smoke, or I need to go cope this way or that way. No, I'm sober. There are better ways to do things. I feel different. I think different. I'm emotionally stable. I'm mentally better, and I'm just growing.
And that you are. Your work with Civic Circle, the shared civic service, Farm Free Life, Coffee and Tea, Industrial Evolution, The Night Stage.
They're my folks, man.
Angry Cow Poetry. Within
man, you done ran it down.
All of these, I truly appreciate
Yeah.
your body of work
Thank you.
because it has to say something to say something.
Yeah,
And words are powerful,
man.
exposure. A voice and a cause that has a purpose. How does that resonate with what all you do?
I don't do things that don't have substance. Now I might hop on a track with some people. Like I've had a few friends over last week. We just created on the spot because I don't let a lot of people in my space. I really, I like you, so I'm gonna do your interview. But I really, you know what I mean? Because once you put something out there, you can't take it back. You have to remember and so you have to speak from here, not just nothing on the fly. You can ask anybody around me. I always ask them their why. Because I can't rock with you if you don't have one. Mm-hmm. If the only thing you're looking for is money, and granted, money make the world go round and you need some to get some, but if you don't understand money is a tool to be used, you make money to invest it and make some more. I don't like people who are just out here with no purpose. Now, do I shun you away when you don't have one? No, I want to help you develop it and figure out what it is, but if you're not willing to put in that work, I can't be seen with that. Your circle matter. Who you run with matter because their appearance is the appearance of a thing. That's real. Like if you hang with them, they're gonna think you automatically that. And so I'm very specific about the people I have around me because substance is everything. Substance is linked to character.
Very much so.
And I'm not saying I was the greatest person because I wasn't. At 33, I can admit that. I've done some shameful things, but over the years, you have to grow. You have to be like, now, wait a minute. This is me. I can't blame this on nobody else. Nobody's coming to save me. Let me figure out how to get up so I can walk on water or part these Red Seas. So, that's just, I like substance. And anything you hear of mine, you're going to hear some type of encouragement, some type of word, some type of something. And people who don't read or don't study or anything like that, they'll never know that I'm speaking a word over you. I just put it in poetry form and in layman's terms. So substance at the bottom, for me, that's my foundation, and grace and grit and pain and truth and all those things are colorless if we think about it. Those three things, it can go over with any audience. Yes. So if you include that, it's just like writing a story they teach you in elementary school, middle school. You got a beginning, a middle, and an end. You will buckle them in on the roller coaster is what I tell my students that I teach. You got to make somebody feel like it's worth their ride. Mm-hmm. And I try to do that every time.
And successful you have been and will continue to be.
Thank you.
You carry a heavy responsibility.
I do.
As a person
I do.
Who has that voice and has that cause and that call to purpose. Mm-hmm. The language of the culture, pistols, tags, triggers, those who have fallen asleep in death in violence, gun violence, shootings, stabbings, all of these things, unintentional and intentional. Within your methodology of speaking, what moves it to be so impactful that draws your audience to tears and a lot of emotion?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna be crying myself. I may be doing storytelling, you know what I mean? But most times, I won't say 100% of the times, that story is a bit of mine. I don't write about things I don't know, about things I've seen and things like that, which is why it's so impactful to me. Because I lived it. I didn't come from a two-parent household. I came from a single-parent household. My mother has been having pseudo-seizures since I was 12, so I had to learn how to drive at a very young age to get her to the hospital. I had to learn how to pay bills at a very young age. And so I got a decent childhood, but I also had to grow up. My father has an addiction to cocaine. So It's like when I found something I was good at, because at first it was supposed to be basketball. I still hoop at 33. I play in a women's league. But for me, it was just like I wanted to do something outside of me trying to kill myself. And so I made a deal with my mom. And she like, I'll give you these oil pastels to write on your wall. But back then we used Comet. She was like, if it don't come off with no Comet, me and you finna have at it. And mama about 5'1", but she don't play. I don't mess with that lady at all. That's big dog. But, so it came off. And it just, I don't even know from there. My entire room was full. I needed to feel like I had a reason to live. And when I do spoken word, I try to convey that to the best of my ability, that you aren't alone in those thoughts. You just have to figure out a way outside of the streets or outside of whatever you're doing to get that out of you so you can live. It's life on the other side of heartbreak. And while your heart is breaking, you don't see that. The body has outlets for everything. You need to cry, it's your tears. Something in your ears, you can get that out. Using the restroom, it's human. But the heart don't got no outlet. And so how you gonna get that out your heart? That unforgiveness I had toward my dad, upset with my parents that I had to grow up so young. You know what I mean? Upset with my sister because when she left for college, she never moved back home. You know what I mean? So all of these things, upset that I couldn't continue my college basketball career because we didn't have enough gas to get me to the practices. You feel me? Like, all of that. Everybody got pain, everybody got truth, everybody need to change something. You put that together, and I don't even think my words are that powerful. That's just me. It's the delivery. I'm going to look you in your eye. I'm going to memorize my lines because I know you're going through it too. And we're going to come out on the other side better people for it.
That is so profound. PTSD, 9419. The transparency in those lyrics. When I'm alone and worried, another sleepless night, pop another pill, thoughts of suicide. How, if challenging, was that to come off completely clear?
Whew. My brother Dalo, shout out to him. He wanted me to give my thoughts on that. And it was so clutch because in 2019, I was diagnosed with PTSD. I thought something was wrong with me before I started going to therapy. And I was just like, I would have these whirlwind of thoughts. And you only spiral down. Ain't no spiraling up when you have those type of episodes. So one thought leads to everything else, and you just go and go. And it's so truthful. Now, I never popped pills, but I used to drink very heavy. And you think for those moments, your problems go away. Baby, they right there. When you come back down, you still have to figure something out. So for him to say that and to be able to depict perfectly what happens for someone who doesn't understand PTSD, when you have an episode like that, to write the lyrics and to speak directly to me, because a lot of things don't speak to me. Maybe I might be a hard critic, I don't know, but moving me, it's gonna take something to move me. So when I'm moved by somebody, I have to immediately go give them their props. So for that, for me, it was just like an explanation of, okay, I'm not the only one. And at first I thought PTSD was for war veterans. But then I sat and thought about it. How many wars have I faced? I ain't never been to Baghdad, but it's been bombs every day. Mentally. And the new acronym or term, like I said on the review, it's PTSS, which is post-traumatic stress syndrome now, not a disorder, which depicts that it's an injury. That means somebody hurt me. Not that something hurt me, somebody hurt me. So now I got an injury, I got a wound that I got to close and I got to heal. So that song, I had it on repeat on the way up here. So, but that is absolutely correct how it goes.
I thank you for that piece right there, because there are a lot of persons who have lost their voice.
Yeah.
They're screaming inside, no one hears them. It's been taken away. Men have their voice taken away, but women primarily, first and foremost, do.
Yeah.
Because we are emotional creatures.
Yes.
And we have to talk about it. And when we don't have a safe space or a safe place to talk about it and let it out, the behaviors that we see are evident of the screaming.
Yes. Yes.
It's just so refreshing to hear the collaborations, the community work. 2022 Talk is Sheep. Crescendo 2024 is coming here, there. Where do you see exposure going to and moving next, or how does exposure move?
You know, I think about that often now at 33 with the climate that we're in, or the economic state that we are in. I wonder which path to take. Do I pivot to authorship until the terrain isn't so rocky? Or do I continue to blaze my own trail? And these are just my honest thoughts. Or do I go back to school and finish for mass communications and journalism? I do not know. And that is the beauty and slight prudence of walking by faith. Yes. I can honestly sit here and say I do not know what I'm doing next. I know I'm going to restart our podcast, Becoming Well with the Sip Sons. We actually start recording next month. That is that. You know, we stopped on the grief episode, and that dropped, I want to say right before or right after our great-grandmother passed away. Her and my great-grandfather, they were married for over 50 years. Wow. They passed away on the same day, 18 years apart. So we did not know we were going to have to live what we were just recording. And that thing came and swept us. And we was like, oh, okay, so we really have to become well. I do know also, I'm writing a book proposal right now to put out to the world. A lot of people are expecting a poetry book. That is not coming first. A principle book is coming first. And because I love you, Coco, I'm going to give you 2 principles that I live by. Because a lot of people want to know how I got to where I got to, and I don't follow societal norms. I do not believe in a light at the end of the tunnel. I am the light in the tunnel until the tunnel has ended. That's one of my principles in my book. And another principle that I live by, I got a lot in there, but I'll give you another one, and then I'll give you one that somebody else taught me. Passion over paychecks until your passion produces a paycheck. And that is the story of my life. I did not know this gift would take me nationwide, soon to be international. I did not know. I just knew I was finally good at something. My sister is a singer. She's some background for some of the people you listen to. My cousin is a pastor. My great-grandfather was a pastor. My grandparents are pastors. My mother is an elder. I ain't want to call her Coco.
I feel you.
Everybody and their mama got a collar.
Yeah.
Got a collar. And I don't know. I don't think that's me. Like, will I accept my gift and my call? Yes, but a collar? I don't know. And then the 90% rule. I be all over. It's the creative brain. The 90% rule taught by Dr. Paul Ware Jr., one of my mentors in life. The 90% rule is like this. There are 2 types of people in your life. One saying, how can you help me? And one saying, how can I help you? You have to decipher between the two people, characterize them appropriately, and treat them as such. 90% rule.
Profound. Exposure, how important is legacy to you?
Oh, legacy is everything. Growing up, I thought I'd be easily forgotten. Just a person that's here, didn't know why, and just go. It's so many legacies in a graveyard. It's so much purpose in a graveyard. I told somebody the other day, and this is how I know it's evangelism, I get upset when I see soulless people walking around. It bothers me because somebody loves you. You just don't know it yet. And growing up, I did not want kids because I struggled so much. We struggled. There were times I had to feed my whole household just off of me playing drums, you know, and it was just like, this is a lot. Sometimes I just wanted to be a kid. And shout out to my sister, because when my mom was sick, my sister raised me. My sister was working in high school while taking a vacation, paying bills, making sure I got to basketball practice or had clean clothes and, you know, things like that. And she was only 2 years older than me, so she really didn't have much of a childhood. We would have to do certain things while my mom be laid in the hospital, you know, but everybody got a sad story. It's just how you make yours pay you. You really got to make your pain pay you. Yeah. Like, I didn't go through all of this for nothing.
Right.
I'm going to get something out of it, and I didn't want kids because of that. But now at 33, I wouldn't mind. Like 1 or 2, now I don't know. Baby, I don't know. You hear me? Okay, just. And then somebody asked, how would I feel about fostering? I would absolutely foster. Now, I'm one of them weird people that will foster. I would foster teenagers. I'd prefer that.
Yeah.
I'd prefer that over infants, because they have experienced so much. And I want to help you unpack it. I've always wanted a me growing up. And so if I could be that for somebody else, like I got kids everywhere. They call me mom or they call me coach. And, you know, it was prophesied to me long ago that you would be the mother of many. I didn't know what she meant. I was in my early 20s. Like, I ain't got no kids. Like, what are you talking about? But I get it now.
Yeah.
I get it now. I get it take a village. I get they need that outside of their parents. And nothing you can say will ever scare me. And I think that opens the door for their honesty. Because 9 times out of 10, I done did it. And when exposure is gone, somebody will be able to pick themselves up from what I left. And that is so important, because I had to pick myself up by myself. I had to figure it out. There was nobody in my family doing what I'm doing now. So when I tell you I am just whacking away, learning, that's all I'm doing. And if I have to do this now so you can live, I'll do it.
That's beautiful. I'm going to share one of my principles
Yeah,
with you.
yeah. Go ahead.
You have to be to them what you needed when you was them.
Yep, absolutely.
I used to share that with my resident youth council program when I left Detroit Police.
Girl,
And
child, stop. Ain't even know it.
they need it.
All
I
right.
love what you do. I honor the transparency, the clarity, the example that you're setting.
Thank you.
The authenticity in
Yes.
just who you are. Your stage presence is unmatched.
Thank you.
Your performances are top tier.
Oh,
And your wordplay is sick.
thank you so much. I
I
appreciate it.
100%, thousands percent,
Oh,
million%.
Thank you so much.
am just honored to be in your presence.
Thank you.
And looking forward to any type of way. If you ever need a pull me in.
Yeah.
Pull me up.
Yeah,
I can always learn something.
thank you.
It has been such a treat to have this conversation with you.
Thank you so much.
Exposure.
Absolutely. This is one of my favorite interviews I done did. You feel me? Like, I feel like I done an adult.
You were though. How did it go?
You got any shout outs in here?
Oh yeah, let me just go. You know what? This part of interviews make me nervous because people get in their feelings when you don't shout them out. Whoo, Lord. First of all, shout out to Team X, everybody on the staff, my assistants, my manager. Shout out to boss man, the manager. Also, shout out to Goshen House. I love my church. Ain't a church like it. Listen, y'all need somewhere to go? I'm opening service every Sunday at 12:30. Come check us out. And then I'm getting on the drums after that. Also, shout out to my girls and my sister and my Sib sons. Y'all go catch up on season 1. Season 2 is coming shortly. Shout out to the gang, members only. Y'all know how that's going. And shout out to my producer, Gold Frame. He's so tight. Anything he do is tight. He just produced for, what was it, the Rascals Flats or something like that. And shout out to the city of Akron, Ohio. This is just the beginning. We just ain't known for basketball. We are known for spoken word as well. Ohio has it, like my brother Orlando says, not just Akron, Ohio got it. Midwest got it, we been got it. And shout out to you for this. Shout out to Coco for this, my mom, my grandmother, my grandma tight. I love her. And yeah, shout out to God for the gift too. There we go. There we go. Gang.